This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. Today, I would like to talk about what special needs advisors do and give a few examples to help people get a better understanding of what makes planning across the spectrum so different and why we should not be confused with your run-of-the-mill, in air quotes, financial advisor. So I put up here on the screen the job description I created for special needs advisors. And I'm doing this because it's not my intent to be another financial advisor. I don't want to work with people with regards to managing money. I don't want to help them figure out what insurance policies to buy. What I do want to do is I want to help families understand what questions they should be asking, what opportunities they may have that they're not aware of, what services are out there for them, etc. So for those of you that have this on the screen, it outlines what I do. And many of it may sound like any other professional. I meet with people, I talk to them about specific circumstances, I outline what to look for with regards to if you have a divorce or other things, what happens if you're going to lose, if you're worried about one of you dying, are there possible expense deductions you could take for taxes, etc. The things I do not do, but I will more than happily refer you to, are applying for Social Security. I don't apply for Social Security on your behalf. Instead, what I will do is I will set you up with a disability attorney if you want it. I'm not an educational consultant or an educational attorney. If you are looking for help with the school system and you want help with an IEP or a 504, then I will connect you with either an educational consultant or an educational attorney, depending on your level of need and what you are looking for. I'm not an estate planning attorney. I don't do special needs trusts. I do want to clarify that getting a special needs trust is not the end of your planning. I've had many parents tell me, I'm good to go, I have a special needs trust. But upon further review, they may not be as clear on how they're going to fund that trust, who's going to be the trustee, have they talked to the trustee? They weren't aware that you could have a corporate trustee as a co-trustee, meaning you could have a family member who can look out for the individual with a disability, but a corporate trustee doing all the financial reporting and other things that are required, because managing a trust is a lot of work. So those are some examples of what I'm helping with. The other thing that I found that my clients have found a lot of value with me is being a sounding board and an impartial outside point of view. I'm a parent. I've been through much of what we've discussed, and I'm more than happy to share both my professional opinion and my personal experience with what's gone well and what hasn't. So this is an overview of what I do and how I work. Most families are paying $500. I'm pricing it to make myself accessible to people. If there's more hand-holding or if there's more level of interaction, that price is going to be more expensive. But the average client I have is meeting with me for an hour to an hour and a half, and I'm providing an overview in a checklist format, as well as a written narrative and a Q&A session on the phone of what to do, how to do it, what to talk, who to talk to, what paperwork you need, etc. So some other examples of deliverables are this, for example. As a special needs parent, we have typically a lot of people we work with. It can be very difficult keeping track of who does what, or who should you be connecting with. So when you're working with a financial advisor, often they're going to want to know who your accountant is so they can coordinate with that for taxes. They might want to know if you have an attorney. They might want to know if you have an insurance agent, et cetera, et cetera. So here's my role. I am not trying to be everything to everybody. What I am trying to do is make sure you can connect with people if you don't have somebody in this network, or if you're not sure who to trust, etc. My information is down here on the end of the screen. I'm more than happy to share this with anybody that emails me. Again, eric@planningacrossthespectrum.com. And I'm happy to share this information and any other information in subsequent webinars. My goal is to empower parents and increase the level of knowledge of parents so that they don't feel like they have to do this alone. The next thing that I want people to understand is along the lines of what we talked about the other day in the timeline. Here's another flow chart. I'm big on flow charts because I feel it simplifies things. And my ultimate goal is having a flow chart for every state outlining what the resources are, what the waivers are, what the process is to apply for them, etc. And as we complete those, they'll be released and available for people to email us and ask us, and certainly our clients will be getting them. So up here you get your diagnosis. First thing you should be doing is applying for waivers that are applicable to your state. I'm not putting any particular state in here because every state has different requirements. Looking into treatment options doesn't have anything to do with Medicaid waivers. It has everything to do with should be doing speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, behavioral therapy, etc. Those are going to vary depending on the diagnosis. Early intervention, we know scientifically that it works best. When you have a diagnosis, you also need to start thinking about your estate plan. How you're going to fund your trust, a special needs trust. Letter of intent is it's not legally binding. It's to help people understand who your child is. What do they like? It could be your child only eats a certain type of chicken nuggets. It could be your child needs bath time at a certain time. People who aren't around your child routinely aren't going to know these things. And if something were to happen to you, it's important that they have something to refer to so they know how to care for your child. This is also important as your child ages out of school and is transitioning into perhaps a residential facility or an apartment with roommates or supports. Provide those supports with this copy of the letter of intent, and it'll help your child make that transition. You should be updating your estate plan every 3 to 5 years unless something changes. You definitely want to do it when they get to be about 18 or older. At 18 or older, the individual with the disability should have their own estate plan. What do they want? Education, this is going to be your IEP 504. Do you want to do private placement or homeschooling? At 14 and over, you start doing transition planning, which means you should be going to resource fairs. You have to decide if there's going to be a certificate or diploma. Again, at 14, you can connect with the Department of Rehabilitative Services. It may be called something different in your state. It may be called vocational rehab. It may be called Division of Rehabilitative Services. It depends on your state, but every state has a pre-employment transition services, which is funding for students 14 and older to start learning job skills. After high school, do they want to go to college? Do they want to learn a trade? That's where vocational services could be from the state. It could be from vocational rehab. It could be job coaching that they private pay. Do you want to apply for Social Security or SSI? If you have a son at 18, they need to apply for selective service. And then how can they live independently? That does not mean that they're living by themselves. Independent living as a parent whose child has a disability, what it means to me is making sure my child has the opportunity to live the life they want to live with the supports they need. Does that mean that they may live with me forever? It might. It could also mean that the supports they need are not me being in the house. It could be somebody else is here. So these are an overview of some things that I talk families through and I help them understand. And every family is going to be a little bit different about what advice they need or what type of help they need. So this is a brief overview of what a special needs advisor does. Again, feel free to reach out to me, Eric at Planning Across the Spectrum, if you'd like to learn more. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Good luck.